Recording in progress. into order. June 14th.
In attendance?
In attendance.
Me?
Got Judy, Ron,
Gilbert.
Trey, and myself, along with, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Now we're official. So we're going through Article 8 use provisions. Okay.
Duty one.
And I know we got quite a few comments from online,
Yeah.
which is nice, which always helps.
I've got something on page 3.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's C4.
Okay.
The section blank through section blank establish specific, I think it should be, instead of specifically, accessory uses.
Yeah. Specific. Okay.
Okay. I've got something on page 4. I don't want to, on 3,
Oh, your microphone, Trey.
I could hear him, so I didn't say
Yes,
anything. I'm
B-
sorry. You're right.
B2 needs a period, I think.
At the end. Good job.
yes.
Oh, nice.
Mm,
Good
Did it,
catch.
Fred.
My entire contribution for the evening.
All right. Thanks for
Actually found
joining
a
us.
couple others. Yeah, I'll be seeing you on that.
We're expecting a hyphen out of you tonight.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a good segue because there's, I have a, not a hyphen, but I have a question. It regards the sort of format question. If you go to the next page, you see, which is section 8.1.2A, and then you see 1 through 12. And these lists are presented in 2 different ways as far as they're being separated. So one, verbiage, and semicolon in this case, and semicolons are used all the way down to the bottom. Other places they use, you'll have the verbiage for one and then a period.
Okay.
And so
consistency.
we should, the predominant form is with the period, but I'm indifferent, but I think we should just choose one so we can be
Agreed.
consistent.
I saw the same.
Okay.
So are you going to do periods or semicolons?
Okay.
That's valid.
So going to periods then?
I mean, I don't know what I mean.
I
we
think that's
can-
something we could go take back to Caleb.
Yeah,
And
and
ask.
then he can
What about this is a legal
Attorney.
document. What do you say?
either.
It's not going to be a legal issue. All I ever ask for is what you've just asked for is consistency.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I'll let
when-
Caleb.
Well, since they use periods more often than
Okay, you want the
semicolons,
periods.
I think
Okay.
let's just keep
Say
it easy for
periods.
those people.
Okay.
Okay. So these 1 through 12 should all have the period at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
And getting rid of the and at the end of number 11.
It is an and, though. He has to consider all of the above, not just some of the above, not just some of them. Because must consider the vocabulary period and means it's inclusive. Has to consider all 12, as opposed to if it's a list, it's like, yeah, pick one.
Okay.
So you think it
At
should
the
stay? And okay. Well, I don't know.
And you
I
need to
think
keep
it
the
is just an
semicolons
and
then.
because it's a whole criteria. All of them are a list of criteria. So it's just, I think it's just and. It's just the way you finish.
You either need to say the director must consider all of the following criteria and just list them with periods,
Yep,
or leave semicolons in and the and in. Right?
Yeah,
yep.
that's fine. I think that would work. So you get extra money
Any of
tonight
these I would
for
be
that.
fine with, whatever you're most comfortable with and whether, if you're looking to read, if it's grammatically correct or functionally correct. So far I haven't heard anything I object to in terms of what you want to do with it.
Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool beans.
All right. So on page 6, And have you incorporated the online ones yet or
No,
not?
no,
Okay.
we just, they're kind of hot off the press.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can use them as a guide if you want to, and then just double check.
In some cases, it wasn't sure which one it was.
I know, I'm sorry, you don't have the version that has the rest of it. It says, so, typo, page 6. Which one are you looking at that's not finished in your?
Yeah, it's on the next page. I did number 8, and I attempted to compare with the existing uses that were described as best I can. It was rather laborious. I did note some where they lumped museum and libraries together, and I kind of noted, is this because it's hard to tell in some cases whether it's a museum or a library, but they were separate before. But attempted as all possible to try to check this. I may have missed some, because you can tell there's a lot.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start on the
8.5?
8.5, yeah. So you're saying you saw some on there already?
No, I did not, because I had cross-eyed on them once, but if somebody else saw one, I tried.
So I know one of the, so maybe we'll get to it when we get to it on page.
On 8.6, right? The C1.
6. I don't know why she's saying, she does not list C1. What do you mean? 64-1604.
64-1604.
I think that's to the original.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's trying to say. Other
me
than
see
C1 doesn't have a little dash in it, but
It may be, let me go look up 16.
yeah, that's what I'm.
1604. And it might have been one of those that was on the table, but
Here.
it wasn't in the
64.
list.
What are y'all looking at?
What's that?
Where are we looking?
Oh, you may not have the printout. We're using something that.
Oh, okay.
You have
You're
that?
reading that. If I got it, I didn't print it out.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So,
Yeah, we have an extra one if you'd like it.
So 1604 talks about relocated residential structures. And it does not list in A, it does not list C1, but here we say you can have an administrative permit to do that. Now, most interesting, you are currently hearing a relocated residential structure going to a resident,
Okay,
going to
so-
C1.
1604 does not, should this be removed?
So in 1604 is the first line, all relocated residential
right.
structures. It does not list C1, but we just put A's across the board,
Yeah.
but it wasn't listed. And I was just saying, of note, you currently have something in front of you where they're relocating a residential structure into
No,
C1.
actually, that's zone C1 right now. That relocated structure.
It's on C1 now?
No, it's AG1 now. But is it saying where it's going to or where
Yeah,
it's
this
coming?
is, yeah,
Interesting.
the address from which the structure is being relocated.
I mean, I think this is only really dealing with residential, it's a residential structure.
But
I
it's
think
saying
so.
where you can relocate so 16604 is
Is
about
residential.
relocating residential structures, and it has to have a required district of where it's going to.
Right, so I think it's, so I can see why it shouldn't have C1 or any kind of, why it doesn't, because all these are residential or allows residential uses. So even, although C1 does allow residential as well. I don't- I think it's when you want to reload, this is a very old use permit. We don't use it very much, but I think back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, people used to relocate residential structures from one residential district to another, you know, and so that was pretty common. So interesting.
But this was just supposed to be copy and paste what was, and relocating a residential structure to C1 was not in 1604.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very typical. So I think we just leave it out because it's not, we're not going to change something that's, I don't think it's any.
So we're
deal.
striking the A under C1?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, because that would be incorrect. So I just want to stay with whatever's there already. Okay. Museum is not listed in 60 with the other permit. Is it contained in a different? Oh, again, it's, okay, so what happens with, so if that is, something is listed like by hierarchy, oh, so if it's listed in O and I, oh, it can't be in C1. It would be the opposite.
Well, actually, this is one because 775 talks about C1, and
But it lists
a
museums.
museum is listed,
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
but only in C1.
that's what she's,
That's in 775 for
775.
C1. We'd have to look what it says in OI and in mix. But museum is listed. This is what I went through for the last time. And let me see where it
I
says.
guess, since it's listed, it doesn't seem like her question, she must have just missed museum in 64,775.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah,
So-
she just missed, it's okay.
But a museum is listed.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
You know what? She was looking for private museum, and it's just museum. Down in AA.
Okay.
That's a page 7.
Okay, Assembly Hall, indoor auditorium, well, does anybody else have anything? Okay. So she's getting, so what happens is, for the next one, Assembly Hall indoor is permitted in C1, but not permitted here. It's not called that, Assembly Hall, well, I think it's indoor.
Well, we changed some of that, didn't we?
Well, so sometimes things get mixed up between form-based code, and they're similar.
It says assembly hall or event facility in 64,775. Here it says assembly hall indoor auditorium.
Because that wording comes from the form-based code, but it's called something, it's
So
called, like
I
you
guess the
said,
question
assembly
is-
hall or event facility. But is not permitted here, should that be at, so see what I mean? She's getting it mixed up, the terminology.
They both say assembly hall.
I know.
Is it permitted or not permitted in C1?
It is, assembly hall or event facility
So
is.
should page 7, assembly hall indoor auditorium be permitted in C1?
No, that's, I know that's the form-based code version of an event facility, even though it's using the same term, assembly hall.
So on C7, on 8.7, change indoor auditorium to event facility.
No, I think the point is, I think she was trying to make the point, if you go to 775, in C1, in the rural overlay, assembly hall or event facility is listed, but it's not noted as a,
Oh, yeah.
Indoor auditorium.
Yeah, so I think I don't know, we gotta. See, this is the form-based code and.
What is this?
He's not using event facility, and he's still saying assembly hall, indoor auditorium, which I really think under this table, it should be assembly hall or event, or the event facility, and then put it's permitted under C1.
Okay, that's,
Yeah,
yes.
yes.
But then let's check on mixed and see if it's defined the other way.
Well, I think usually if it's allowed in C1, it's automatically done, whatever's allowed, because mix is, there's some sort of, we can look, or I guess mix is, yeah, higher.
Mix is 752
Assembly hall or event facility, it also says.
is also, yeah.
It's allowed
okay.
there, okay.
So on that line, we're going to change assembly hall or for the rural overlay, or event facility permitted in C1, permitted in mixed. Okay.
That's everything for 7?
No, but back on page 6, y'all notice this
Sorry,
error
back.
link?
Yeah, I think he has to go back and fix those on the,
All right, there's a few of those.
yeah. Yeah, on Civic, yeah. I think he has to fix the links in the electronic. Okay. Page 8, anything?
Nothing else. 8. Nothing. 9.
Interesting that a recording studio is allowed in office, industrial, and mixed, but not C1? In the mid-
That is weird. Let's see.
Let's see. 1604.
Oh, that is weird, but it is. I think we have a lot of. Okay, nothing else on 8?
I'm still trying to
Oh, you're
check
still looking.
recording studio.
Oh, it's not in there. I looked.
Okay,
It's not in C1, but I don't want to
C1.
change it. It's not.
okay.
Right? But 9, page 9, anything there? Okay. Yeah. Self-storage.
You know, I'm looking on 9, and there's a footnote under U. Oh, there's the footnote way on page 12, okay. Okay, never mind.
I'm going to check this brew pub because can't remember.
We
whether-
only allowed brew pubs in form-based code,
was that what it ended up being? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So 10, she had a question, they had a question. Self-storage in max.
Yeah, so I think he ended up putting it all together, but originally it was 2 different types, like the outdoor type where you have the door from the outside versus an internal one. And I think that, let's see.
So 16833 required district mix C1 and C2.
Yeah, so he has it under all self-storage. C1.
If you look at 1833, it does say self-storage / multi mixed and C1 as well as C2.
So let's see.
And there's, but, oh, what she's pointing out is 33, which is multi, and 32, which is mini, and they have different,
Right.
you can't have a self-storage mini and mixed, but you can have a self-storage multi and mixed, which doesn't really make sense. It seems like it would be the opposite.
And trying to remember.
You'd think a mini would fit better in a mixed than a all others.
Try to remember which one is the doors outside. I think it's the mini. I don't know, these are silly. Because the multi says have windows and architectural treatments that appear as windows. The other one is the one, kind of the old-fashioned one.
The multi has to have windows.
Right. So I'm thinking the mini storage is have the
Garages.
doors directly out. But then this is all condensed, like she said. All self-storage, which C1 use, so that's.
So am I reading that the mini is actually the ones that look like a row of garages?
Yes.
And the multi is the one that looks like a building? So
Right,
then it
'cause
would
that's
make
architectural,
sense.
but
But then by lumping them all together, we're not allowing, we're taking away the mixed for the one that looks for the building.
yeah. Okay.
So we
I
might have
think,
to,
I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. Just, we don't really want the old-fashioned kind,
yeah.
but I think I just have to, so many.
So that might have to go back to
Yeah.
2 lines.
Right, but for now, I think we need to put it in the MIX and then the, oh yeah, we don't have any C2, so, okay. That can be a policy.
Put it in MIX, that way we are saying it's okay to have the garage doors.
For now, and so, because we're not really going to do any policy changes, but nobody's come to us in 15 years for,
Well, they lumped it into all, and what the code said is the ones that look like a pretty building can be in mixed use. One that
Right.
looks like a row of garages cannot.
8.6.
I'm simplifying.
Let's see, six-
Does that mean break that down into 2 instead of all
6.5.
self-storage?
facilities. Yeah, he just has it down to 1. And he has the one with the windows. I wonder if he just got rid of it. Let's see.
He merged the 2 together.
Oh, he merged them together, so.
You think that was intentional?
Yeah, I don't know. I can ask. I mean, actually, you know what happens is that even those districts are in some sort of overlay district, so we're gonna have oversight in what the building looks like. So I guess it's here nor there for now until if we want to go back and actually take out the components that might contribute to the old fashioned, the mini. So, but we need, we'll go ahead and add the U under MIX for self-storage.
We're gonna leave it as all self-storage, or we're gonna break it out into multi and mini two?
Break it out, and then if you break it out, you can,
Yeah, okay,
Mirror.
break it out.
Is that what we could have?
I like
Is that
that
what we're
better.
not giving
Okay,
a mini in?
okay. Cool. Outdoor storage and display is not listed as a permitted. That's somewhere in Muni code.
If we're moving on from that, I have a question about
Yeah,
what does it mean for near the bottom there, the barn has a U and a P?
because there's certain types of barns that may need a use permit, so, if you go back to AG1, certain types of barns need a use. Let's see. If you don't have a single-family house on it, I believe, let me look. Okay, there we go.
I think it depends on the size. So if it's less than 5 acres, then you need a use permit.
If it doesn't have a single-family house on it, right? Hopefully.
If there's a distinction
Yeah,
that we can
No.
make,
It identifies here,
Relatively
5 acres or
easily.
larger, or less than 5
Oh,
acres.
okay.
So if it's,
But still, it has both of them.
well, it doesn't on the less than 5 acres, so if it's larger than 5 acres and doesn't have a single family,
But I'm trying to figure out why it's either a use permit or it's permitted. That's what-
Depends on the size, 5 acres or not. If it's more than 5
have the
acres,
less than, but that's what I mean, property 5 acres or larger, he's got both the use and the P on it.
oh,
So I'm trying to figure out, let's see. For property with a single-family dwelling being the principal use, structures housing livestock which may be located in the front, rear, or side yards, provided that that structure must be located at least 100 feet, you can do. For property without a single
oh
family,
God, I remember this.
being the principal use and containing less than 5 structures, blah, 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 it must have a use permit. So I was
Right.
slightly right. It was the acreage based on not having a single-family house.
So is it with a single family?
You don't need a use permit.
Can we separate the lines where one says with a residence and one without a residence so that we
Yeah.
only have one letter
Okay.
in the square?
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to 11. Storage display. Not listed as permitted use in 65.
See the same thing for all writing areas also.
Okay. Usually I think outdoor storage and display is like an accessory. It's not something, I think it's dealt with, for the general. Divisions.
This is listed under accessory uses, so that may be
Yeah.
why it's not in
Yeah,
775
that's
or
why
something
it's
like
not.
that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So she just doesn't, it's,
Okay with it?
doesn't need to be. Under it's, unless it's actually store, like, even there it talks about storage. Outdoor storage.
so outdoor storage and display,
is under another.
775 says accessory uses, it has a separate section for accessory uses, it says structures and land may be used for uses customarily incidental to any permitted use. I guess if we're looking at outdoor storage and display, is if it's,
It's a separate. That's the way it was, and we never used skywalks, but.
What is a skywalk?
So the only one that I know about is down in Sandy Springs, like between the hospitals, like north side and across.
Between buildings.
Yeah. I remember, but.
Okay.
I'm not sure why you'd need a skywalk in AG1.
There was some discussion about maybe building one to cross Hopewell.
But we haven't really.
What do they define as skywalk is? You know, because like to take pedestrians and bikes over?
it'd probably take a lot more than just a use permit.
Yeah, yeah.
But otherwise, you can just build it. Generally, if you're building a skywalk, you're going over like a street.
It is so bizarre that it's an AG1. I have
They
no
don't
idea,
define
but
us-
That's what it is, so. And ONI and C1. It should be mixed, yeah, you should have it under mixed use,
Should go to mixed.
yeah. I'm waiting for a skywalk to happen, but.
Ready for them.
It's not defined, so it can be whatever you'd like it to be.
Okay.
Okay. Jumping over to 12.
That's interesting that a private swimming pool is prohibited in C1?
A private, it's administrative, so it's basically a building permit, we just.
But it's blank under C1.
Yes, because you can't have a private swimming pool in C1. Well, I can double check to make sure that's what it says, but I'm pretty sure that that's. Oh, private. Oh, well. Oh, all districts except C1, C2, M1, M1A, and M2, so that's what it is, it's not. Okay.
12 roadside produce stands. C3 and mixed only.
Fine.
I think I have found there's a difference between a roadside produce stand and a,
So roadside vending is more like, you know,
fireworks,
fireworks or carpets, you know, the old days when they
yeah, the rugs.
schlep up rugs.
Building pictures. Yeah, why'd those go away?
Of the Elvis rugs?
Yeah.
I know. I
Or the
haven't seen any-
zebra, the big zebra. or the-
I feel it's never been the same.
I think now it's just honey
Honey and flowers.
and flowers, yeah. Donna with the flowers.
Yeah, so I think wherever roadside produce stand is, roadside produce stand.
So should it just be those three only?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be, yeah, AG1, C1, and mixed, is all.
So required districts, MIX, C1, C2, M1, M2, and AG1, so we only have X. And AG1, and then everything else would be out.
No business. No business by use, administrative permit, and CUP, C1 and mixed.
What are you looking at?
The next one, the
Oh, okay.
seasonal business use.
seasonal business. Next, C1, C2, crab apple form-based code. Allowable in AG1 and residence only when the property is occupied. So, I mean, it's whatever this says. Oh, and
So-
again, they've got too many things on it again.
Yep.
so.
Yeah.
So should we keep AG1 or not?
Well, it's with conditions.
Kind of?
It is allowable in AG1.
What's that?
If, this says for season, are we on seasonal business use?
Yes.
It says, 1608 says, going backwards, mixed, C1, AG1, and residentially zoned districts only when the property is occupied by a church, school, lodge, retreat, farm, plant nursery, or as approved by the director, which makes it an admin permit because that's who issues a,
Yeah, well, so like the
So it is-
perfect example was a hunter's tree farm. So, but technically I would
but this basically says it is,
permit it if,
it's allowed in AG1 if it's a certain thing.
right, it says, or
Or-
as approved by the community development for uses compatible with AG1 district permitted uses.
Yeah.
Allowable and residence only when the property is occupied by church, school, lodge, retreat, blah, 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 or as approved by the community for the compatible, so.
So, but the community director is the one
Admin,
that does
yeah.
the admin, so it should be admin across the board, except OI.
We're doing a lot of jumping back and forth. Should those be links in these areas?
They are on the
Okay.
right. We're just reading the,
But, okay.
Allowable in AG, oh, I see what you mean, in residentially zoned district only when the property for approval. I see what you're saying. So I think it's about right, what is down then,
because,
allowed by administrative permit.
yeah, because it's actually allowed in the others if it's occupied by a church, school, lodge,
Right.
all that kind of things, but somebody's got to check that that's what it's occupied by, so. So it's a little bit of a split. You need an admin permit, or you're gonna have to ask them if you need an admin permit.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than just getting paying the fee and whatever it requires for the submittal, so. But are we okay with that, Paul? Just keeping it the way it is?
I was not following. I was trying to I couldn't figure out where you were reading from.
Oh, okay, it's from the use permit 64-1608.
Okay, I'm even there. I still wasn't following where you were reading the
So basically
residential
it
stuff.
says-
It lists everything that it's allowed in,
Yes.
and then the AG1, it's allowed only if it's occupied by those.
like lodge, retreats, church, school, plant nursery, or as approved by the community development
Oh, I
director for
finally
uses compatible with AG1 district permitted uses existing as a conforming or lawful non-conforming non-residential use.
Okay. So what was the question?
I guess because they have every, in the chart, A
Well-
for administrative permit is under every zone.
Yeah, as long as the restriction section refers to this, which has restrictions, there may be restrictions that prevent, and just because someone says, hey, I've got AG1 property or I've got R1 property, I automatically get to do it regardless of what the other restrictions say based on this table. That's not the way it works.
Okay,
You start from this table, can I do it at all?
and then go to.
And then you look at the restrictions, and the restrictions
And we're
may
just
say,
confirming that all those zoning districts is okay to put A under what he has in the table, in the proposed table. On page 12.
so R1 through TR, those defined as the residentially zoned districts in the zoning in this. So we've got AG1, with restrictions or,
Right.
and we got all the R codes districts. That's fine. TR, is that townhouse residential?
Townhouse residential.
Is
yeah.
that, I assume that counts as a residential zone district. Then we've got AAL, NUP, CUP.
Well, I'm a little
I-
concerned when you go to A97, it doesn't reflect what 1608A states about you don't need an admin permit if you're a church, a school, or a plant nursery. So we lost 1608A and all the, you don't need an admin permit if in 897. So perhaps those conditions in 1608A need to be added to
Either.
8.97.
I don't, my printout doesn't go that long. No, I think,
Oh, because we were only going to go to
oh, we were
845
only gonna
today.
go, okay, that's right.
But what we were just talking about in 1608, about
Right.
you don't need an admin permit if you're a plant nursery or a church or a school, did not get moved over to, if you check the reference on that, 897, and probably should be because it is meaningful.
So we need to work on that.
So all the A's remain, and we just check the reference to 8.9.7.
Change 897 to add all the, you don't need it if.
Say that again?
So,
All the A's stay here, but when it references 8.9.7, he's saying it doesn't reference that it needs an administrative, I mean, it doesn't
Approval
list
from community
the,
development.
Okay,
So it needs more work on that section.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we just don't have a printout because we
Okay,
we're only gonna
okay.
do half. So, yeah. So anything else on 12?
Or is missing from.
Well, what is,
Looks like a table note for T4R.
But no,
I think it might be a typo, it's a P instead of an R. Or did we, oh, we switched to, because in Crabapple it's R and in
Yeah.
Deerfield it's P. She's jumping way ahead, I guess, that's page 18, right? No, that's page 13.
Well, there's T4.
well, the first
restricted.
instance at the
reserved,
top of the
T4.
column, there's a footnote 1 listed, but then when you get to page 18 where the table notes are, it's only footnote 2 and footnote 3.
oh, I see. Where's footnote 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
I think what happened is the table notes on page 18 should be 1 and 2, not 2 and 3.
Correct.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. 1 and 2 and not 2 and 3.
Oh, okay.
It's not missing, it's just misnumbered.
Okay.
Mhm.
I was trying to figure out how T4O referred to T4 restricted as number 2, and then I realized.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Does that make sense?
right. That's just renumbered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that's number 13. Let me just mark renumber.
House apartments and. So 18. So now we're in form-based code and apartments is use,
9.
neighborhood, it's really called multifamily and it needs a use permit. So she's confusing it.
It was called, in 1839, it's called apartments, but are we just calling it multifamily now
Yeah,
in the
so I guess-
UDC?
We need to just call it apartment or call the other thing multifamily. So we'll ask about that.
We've got two different apartments, got the loft apartment, neighborhood apartment, and multifamily.
Right. Okay. But that is correct for the use permits.
Right?
Seasonal, back to that. Seasonal business by 12.
Alternative senior housing is allowed with a use permit under T2, T3, T4.
Wait, but I thought she's saying seasonal business by use for under page 12. I don't see seasonal. See?
That was back on the previous page.
We were talking about.
Yeah, we've already talked, so we're down here.
Oh, okay.
We've already got that. That was the one we were going to check the reference to 8.9.7. So now we're on we should be at alternative senior housing,
Oh, okay.
1844. Is allowed with a use permit in T2, T3, and T4. Unicode.
Right, that's correct.
T2, T3, T4 is correct.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's got,
So it should be a U under T2, T3, T4, but not T4R?
Look at that. So what is it on the?
well, so right
Alternative.
here, yeah, so it's got required districts, but if I'm looking,
Here, it doesn't have it on there. So
Doesn't
we
have
need
it
a
on
use
any.
permit for I know it's T2,
T2, T3, and T4,
just plain T4?
what it says.
Okay. Okay.
So then, in the closed parentheses, just on group residence, 4 children, 5 to 8, 9 to 15.
Oh, yep,
There.
got that.
And then,
And link error.
and then table 9 in Unicode does not show convalescent center, nursing home, hospice being allowed in T4. Or we've got by permitted use.
This personal care home assisted living, but in the show convalescent center being allowed in T4. It's not in, well, oh, I see over here,
So it's
permitted.
Of course, we just remove the P.
Correct.
Take that for a yes. Silences.
I mean, I'm, assisted living is only in, those are T4 open and T5. According to table 9 in Crab Up.
So not in that. Right, he's saying not in T4 for a convalescent center,
Correct.
nursing home, hospice, yeah.
Yep.
Right.
All right,
Moving on
page
to
14.
School private special is allowed by use permit in all districts in Muni code. Table 9 does not allow them in T4.
School, private, or special is allowed by use permit and not allowed them in T4.
So that's interesting because there's a conflict in the current code between 31 and 9.
Well, table 9 is an overlay to some extent. Well, we treat it as a zoning district, don't we? It calls it an overlay, but we treat it as a zoning district, which makes this, whether it's a required district, and we do treat the T zones as districts in other places. So there sounds like there is some conflict. There's a school in here.
Like is permitted everywhere. Yeah,
Was this in elementary school or looking at table 9, is it elementary school? Table 9 doesn't allow them in T4. As far as I can tell, schools aren't allowed in T4 are what's allowed in the other districts.
I'm confused.
So if you read 1831, it says all districts
Right.
for private schools, so that should be school, comma, private, but then do they also define,
But it's for form-based code, it's got it done differently. But
The table 9 lists each of the types of schools: college, high school, trade school, elementary
but
school.
it doesn't say whether it's private or public.
No.
is this one, another one of the, is this one where there's a, did he change the definitions? Or is it the table that's the problem?
Well, this is even a different kind of table than what there is currently. Because right now it just has high school, elementary school, where this is private, public, K through 12, and it's not.
I know.
So let me just talk to him about, we'll figure this out.
Well, there's school private, school public, school special. Private and special do have the same, but I think what she's saying is it should be allowed, it should be in T4, but does it need a use permit or is it permitted?
This matches, I think maybe the issue, this matches school private, K through 12, matches what's in the table. But then the definition.
Right, because obviously we always allow public schools
Yeah,
anywhere.
1831 is in question because it says all districts.
Right. Okay. This is, okay, I think we just, to get,
So do you need a use permit for a school or don't you?
for a private school, not for a Board of Education school.
Well, yeah, but school private or special says, oh, this
All
is use
district,
permits, so they
yeah.
all need it. But I think what her point is it's all districts, so there should be a U on T4R as well.
That's her question, yeah. And she's noting that there's a difference between 1831
Oh,
and Table
yeah,
9.
yeah.
That should probably be resolved.
Okay.
But the table was incorrect. Is that part of the problem?
I mean,
The table is not consistent with the code?
the table in our draft matches Table 9, but that is
And when I was doing
inconsistent
my
with,
cross checks, I was checking to table 9,
Yeah.
not the individual code. Because
Yeah.
I assumed 9 and the code was consistent. In this case, it was
Right.
not.
yeah, she's questioning the 1831 and Table 9. Those are inconsistent, and it does appear that question to be asked about that.
Okay.
Is there a random colon someplace?
I couldn't find it.
My son got bored. He was waiting for a ride.
What's he gonna do now?
I know. He was waiting for my husband to come pick him up.
Oh.
I said, "Are you bored yet?" He
I know.
says,
poor
"Yes."
kid. Community service or something.
Must have done something really bad.
814, under all aircraft landing areas, there's a colon that does not need to be there. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, found it. Is that one of
Wow.
those little
Wait,
puzzles?
where
where
is that again? Because I was looking
It's
too.
like
All
the
aircraft areas.
eighth line from the bottom, all aircraft landing areas.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need a colon there. Found it.
I was looking too.
All right. So
All right, wait,
good
so
on
let me-
14, do we cover the elementary and high school being? Or that one?
Well, I think we're going to,
We did see that 9 and the code was not consistent. I think it's
Right.
tied into what we talked about of 9, this jives with 9, but not the wording.
correct. Correct.
And because 9 and the wording aren't jiving when it comes to, but she's saying it's a problem with T4O?
Yeah, I didn't.
Maybe she meant R.
Because table 9 shows not an R, it's not R, it's not O, it's R that it's missing in, I think, in the table. But the code does not exclude it.
Well, it's T4R, but it's not.
Not T4O, it's T4R.
Yeah. Which that's what he had. I mean, this is what it's
Yeah.
not under it either. So I think shouldn't be for whatever. So T4R is usually means it's already built under old Fulton County regulations and they don't have to go by the new form-based code. So maybe they just didn't want to, it's basically already built. So I think this doesn't go I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, maybe it was a
Yeah,
miss.
that,
I think it's a typo here on this
Yeah.
page.
I think she did a typo this time.
yeah.
Okay. Stadium, offsite. Perhaps T4R is not included.
The same thing with T4R.
Right.
Where's the
See, it says
stadium?
right here. So, oh, I just lost it.
So
Stadium.
again, the wording says it's okay because it's all districts,
Oh,
but it's
on
Right,
the
it
not on the
says
table.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to 15. So stadium. And then I've got 36 up here. It does show all.
Okay. Yeah, so it should have that too, yeah. Yeah. Although I think it goes back to that whole thing
That whole thing. that-
about there, we don't put anything in T4R, even though that, see, that was written way before we had any form-based code. We've never touched it. So, you see what I mean?
So you didn't go back and rewrite 1831 and 1836.
We just have to fix
with
it to take
T4R.
out T4R, everything but T4R, whatever, yeah.
So it
We
really,
have
so
to
the
really
ones
fix
where
the
we,
regular.
so the ones we talked about schools in T4R, the table is correct, the wording is wrong.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we need to, this is, ignore this.
Yeah, so we
This
need
is
to
correct.
fix the use permit.
So actually, this table is correct
Yeah.
then.
Yes,
The language never got updated when we added T4R.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. So I think that's the other problem with the other one too, probably. Fix. Use permit. Well, 9 and that's not.
We're in pool halls.
Ah,
Pool halls we show by permitted use. 5.
Table 9, okay.
Top of the page.
Oh, I'm just, in this, in the,
I don't see it.
existing
Table.
table. Oh, here it is, under massage parlor.
Uses prohibited in all zoning districts, massage,
it's-
pool hall, escort services, vape shops, yep.
Oh, so pool halls, okay. I didn't realize that. I didn't remember that.
We won't talk about the one we have.
So we need to take this out.
Do we have a pool hall? Sorry.
Anyway,
You're not revealing, so it could be grandfathered in. It existed.
so we're done with pool halls. According to table 9 in Unicode, business and art schools are allowed by warrant. In T5. Trade schools are only allowed by use for T4R. And all the T4R. Will be on a separate line. Business, trade, and art schools. There's a distinction between trade and art to separate that as another line.
I don't see the trade school or the,
Right here.
At the middle.
W's.
oh, okay.
Right
So
there.
this is like,
So on table 9, does it include all of them together, or is it separate?
I think there's just one.
Section it's school, I would think it was. Oh, here it is, trade school. Trade school, yes, is separate out of the business and art school.
So on this table, it should be a separate.
Yeah,
Separate line item.
But I think part of the problem is he combined it back in the definitions. 8, 5, 10.
8, 5, 10, see.
You might not have that.
We do 8, 5 goes up to,
Yeah, he lumped business, trade, and art school in 8, 5, 10, C.
yeah, he has it together in there too. So trade school is different.
So
He's
But
got to
the-
change C. He's got to change, yeah. He's
he
got
has
to
to
change that
split
too.
out C.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, 16. Certain ones in red.
I think because we did those changes more recently, so I don't know, that was from the alcohol, so it could have just,
Local code or consumed.
yeah.
Okay, nobody has any on 16? 17? Oh. Yeah, 18? 18, we've got a few on 18. From the web. General business.
Yeah, I think that's right on the seasonal business. Shows business, shows it only allowed in T5 and crabapple. So it's showing T5, C1, MA. So it's not T2, T3 or any of that. So I think that's correct. So on here, we need to just show it in T5 and delete these.
Delete those A's.
Delete it in T2, T4, and T4 open, and leave it in T5.
Okay. Not see note.
We fixed those two next ones.
Yeah, it's the renumbering we caught earlier.
Okay. Allows greenhouses in T2, but in T3 requires a warrant.
So Robin, what does table 9 show for a greenhouse?
So by right in T2, a warrant in T3.
Okay. And then the other one should be blank.
So it's showing a permit in all of these. Right, 18.
Matter versus commercial versus non-commercial.
Well, that was going to be my next question.
So where's the
non-commercial
greenhouse?
Okay, so
greenhouse.
18, All right, and so greenhouse is up.
Oh.
Those
I'm
are
sorry, this
accessory
is too-
uses.
So
So
this
it's-
is, so so there is a type of greenhouse that you can have in your residence, like in your yard, and it can't be over a certain size and blah, blah, blah. I think that's what he's talking about when it's
By the way, don't put it too close to the
non-commercial,
side.
8812. Let's see.
But it's permitted in T2 because T2 is like AG1 and T3, which is a little more dense, you need a warrant. In the table 9.
But yeah, it's inconsistent with, I mean, I'm thinking of the greenhouse that anybody can build in their yard, whereas maybe this is more of a commercial.
This is.
It says greenhouse
in our draft that we're looking at, it's listed under the accessory uses.
Oh,
This-
good
This is
point.
all the accessory use section.
Okay, so I think that's correct by
Right,
permitted. So I think
Right.
that's the one that I'm talking about.
right.
That's in the, yeah.
Because it also says it's, greenhouse, non-commercial, accessory use. That's okay. I don't know if there was a greenhouse somewhere else. Any of the commercial uses.
Or under agricultural, if is there any kind of, under open uses.
What is Milton's
But there
cuisine
isn't any of that.
zoned? Is that T, what is Milton's cuisine zoned as?
I'm sorry, what?
What is Milton's cuisine zoned as?
Milton's Cuisine here?
The restaurant,
Restaurant.
yeah.
It is T5. And even along Heritage Walk, the beginning part is, and then T4, it's just,
Yeah. Oh, but that would be considered a commercial greenhouse because they're
I will
a
say there's a
restaurant.
plant nursery under open uses. That's,
right. I was just thinking to see if they had like a plant nursery, like to have
that appears to match
EW.
their greenhouse in the
Okay,
old table
the-
9,
yeah,
if that's where it got
okay.
trans.
We can ask, is this
If plant
not on
nursery
this.
is greenhouse commercial,
this with,
it looks to me like what happened.
yeah. Guess now we know better not to, only to print out half the thing now.
So is greenhouse non-commercial in 818 going to be a P in T2, a W in T3, and strike the other Ps because it's
No.
non-commercial?
It's an accessory use.
It's an accessory
That's,
use.
it's non-commercial, it's an accessory use that's allowed in any district. There may be some restrictions on it. Then there's a separate
Yeah.
item for the,
So does the P stay in T4 or does the P go in
Yeah.
T4?
Yeah.
Okay. P stay, so what does the greenhouse non-commercial line read? PW,
it's just P across, right?
Because as an
It says
accessory
plant
structure,
mode.
it would be permitted.
Right.
At non-commercial,
but that's not what table 9 says.
Table
know.
9 is talking about commercial greenhouses.
Yeah, I
and
think the
that's covered-
verbiage,
Oh,
the
it's different.
verbiage is changed. I mean,
Okay.
he's using different terminology. So
This-
that's why I'm asking synonymous with greenhouse commercial, like from this. So we
But
just
the
have to
reference to
clarify.
8812 is non-commercial. If you go to 8812, he describes that as non-commercial.
Okay.
Right, which is,
that's
right,
what
correct.
this says.
8812 is an accessory use.
But if you
Greenhouse,
read,
non-commercial is accessory structure. That's what you were saying, accessory uses or whatever,
On this draft, it's listed in the accessory
Yeah.
uses section.
which would be in a house, a residence. If you want to have your greenhouse and plant your orchids or whatever you do, you can have that by right. You just have to meet the setbacks and whatever.
That's
Okay.
what this says.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, it says you can do it
so
anyway.
table 9 is incorrect?
Yeah.
Table 9 is correct because
The greenhouse reference in table 9 is a commercial
Reference,
greenhouse.
okay.
Which this draft actually calls a plant nursery. And
Okay,
it's in the commercial section, and it has the same things that the commercial greenhouse has.
okay.
All right. Roadside stands.
roadside stands are permitted in all but T3, T4, and do not require, does it make a difference? This is under temporary uses. Which one is correct? So roadside.
All but T3. Actually, it's T3 and T4 are.
It's like, why is it under other automotive? It's kind of, I guess other and automotive. I don't know. Roadside stand, farm.
So in the rural overlay, roadside produce stands were administrative across the board. And here they're administrative across the board, but she's saying in table 9, it's not allowed in T3 and T4 are.
And she's correct.
I don't see any roadside stand in
It's
this.
at the bottom of other automotive for some
No, I
reason.
know on this, but
Oh.
on the UDC, I don't.
Roadside produce stands
Right
On
here.
18.
On 18.
on page
right there.
18, about 2/3 of the way
Providence,
down.
So.
Because I'm on the wrong page. I'm sorry, Bill. Okay,
So it's
now
right
I'll
there.
find
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Now I'll find it. Okay.
That's not where I would go to look for a roadside stand under table 9, but
So I think this is temporary uses, roadside produce stand. It does seem weird that you can do it anywhere, but.
Or under all districts except form-based codes, we only allowed it in mix C1 and H1 on page 12.
Oh, over here in the regular ones, yeah.
And in 895, it defines it that in all districts except agricultural districts, you can have 4 admin permits for roadside produce stands per year. Good for 30 days each. So that means it's an admin permit, but it says all districts, which would say, again, A across the board, but not consistent with table 9. Because they are temporary, because you can only get them for 30 days at a time.
Hmm.
So then on this table, for T3 and T4R, we could leave them as permitted, but
Well-
leave A for all the others, if if you're allowed that by administratively.
But the language says they are temporary and you need a permit in all districts in Crabapple. You read 895, it says in all districts except agricultural districts, which you could argue T2 is agricultural, you get, you can have, you can get a permit, it's an administrative permit, and it's called temporary because they're only good for 30 days.
Right.
I think what happened, roadside stand was listed in table 9 under other automotive. I don't know, along with gas station, service station, garage, repair shop, car wash, drive-through facility. So that probably doesn't necessarily make sense. Those categories are in this table, this new table, are in this UDC, under all vehicular, but it doesn't list roadside stand. So it seems like it was dropped from this table and all we have is the temporary roadside produce stands. Now, the question is whether they should be allowed as a matter of right without that, you know, which table 9 originally said.
So when I go to the actual roadside produce stands, 8.9.5, a use offering either farm-grown prepared food products such as fruits, flowers, vegetables, canned goods, or prepared packaged meats for sale from vehicle or temporary structure of the consumption on food says use standards. In all districts except agricultural districts, no more than 4 administrative permits may be granted per year and no single blah, blah, blah.
This table seems to match that.
Right.
Then you can get an administrative permit in any district.
Yeah, which is weird because usually roadside produce stands, you have to propagate the stuff to sell it. So it's like if you live in a subdivision, pretty hard to think that you're gonna grow vegetables and sell them from the street.
I mean, her question seemed to be, the old table 9 said they're allowed without an administrative permit. Now we're
Okay.
saying all we have is a temporary use with administrative permits in every district, which, is it a change? Are we?
We don't want to change any. I think there's some confusion
Yeah.
here.
Do we know where the code in the Crabapple form-based code is related to roadside produce? I'm trying to scan. If we can go back to the original code, because we are seeing in some cases that the wording,
Yeah, I saw that, just, it's 64-1606.
1606?
Yes.
But that doesn't say anything about form-based codes.
No.
That's,
But no, that's the rural Milton overlaid. We need it in Crabapple.
well, I don't think there's any definitions. Speaking of,
Other than table 9?
well, it's under automotive. Roadside stand. It doesn't say produce stand. It says roadside stand.
But to Paul's point, that's a fair assessment, that it was taken out and only only replaced under temporary uses.
Yeah.
Or put there. So if it was taken out of table 9 in the automotive section, and it's only listed here in this separately, then it didn't get changed in both.
Okay.
It was only put back in as a temporary use, so
What it
we need
looks
to,
like.
yeah. We need to check that. Okay.
Did you move on to 19? You're mumbling.
On-
sounded-
Yeah,
On
I'm sorry,
19.
I'm mumbling.
The table notes for T2, T4P,
Stop
and
mumbling.
T5. 19. Missing from 24.
So there's a note in the header, but they aren't, just like we had the notes, table notes. We kind of say that T4R meant T4 restricted. And here this is either that or the numbers don't jive. 'Cause it's picking up from the old table notes for crabapple.
But we decided it was supposed to be a 1 and a 2, right?
Yeah, so it looks like on page 824,
I don't know where those come from.
T4P is 3. T5 is 2. And actually T2 has, so basically the footnotes on the bottom of the table on 824 do not jive with the footnote labels at the top of 819. And then it's even more confusing because like it says T4 open, but yet the footnote is by T2.
Yep.
So somehow we have to jive the footnotes on table 819.
Yep.
But the table notes on 818 that we changed,
That's for the crabapple. No, this is Deerfield. So Deerfield, if you look at
Yeah,
the
this is a
headers, we
new
have
table.
different headers. The footnotes are labeled 1, 2, 3, but the actual footnote on page 24 starts 4, 5, 6, and then 7. But then 4 is talking about T4 open, but T4 open doesn't have one.
but no, I understand that. Why does it start at 4?
Don't know.
Probably because it picked up the old table.
The Microsoft Word issue.
Yeah, it's just a word
The
issue.
gremlins in the computer just said, we know what you want.
Right.
Where's AI when you need it? So let me see. So this is Deerfield.
So I don't know if the footnotes are mislabeled at the top or the footnotes are mislabeled, but they need to jive.
They do.
Yeah,
Just a comment needs to go back saying,
yeah.
Just
we're
like the
not
others.
sure how to
Fix
fix it,
it,
but
yeah.
it needs to be fixed.
This does not compute.
Okay.
Okay, the next one, 1839 allows apartments in Crabapple and Deerfield form-based code with use permits in Municode. Has this been changed?
They're renamed multifamily, I think is what we came up to. Same as before.
Apartments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alternate senior housing is blank again, and it shouldn't be.
Check Deerfield to make sure they're.
Permitted in T2, T3, T4, same as crabapple.
Right.
At least
The
we're
neighborhood
make that-
apartment,
At
you
least we're
mean?
consistent in our mistakes.
Right, that's true.
Wrap up 19.
I have one other thing. There's a conforming change from 4.
See that
Oh,
one?
yeah. I was looking at
Residents.
something else.
We're missing the closed parens on those two groups.
Yep, you're exactly right.
Yep.
Yep,
Like I said, we're consistent.
yep.
All right, so 19 we're done. 20, is there any comments on 20?
Do we have the same issue on convalescence nursing home that we had? Or are we okay on the convalescent nursing homes? For Deerfield, back on 19. That would be is it table 10?
Okay, here they're allowed in T4P, T4O, T5, and T6 in Table 10.
Where are they? Where?
T4P, T4O, T5, and T6.
Okay, we're good
which
then.
looks correct.
Almost table 10.
We're good?
We're good.
So now table 10, muni code shows pool halls not being allowed in Deerfield. Should this be changed? Page 21, I'm sorry.
Gordon, from what I could read, they're there with vape shops and prohibited everywhere.
Pool halls are blank across the board.
Yeah, we don't allow pool halls.
Is,
So remove the Ps here.
Oh, yeah.
right? Anybody else have 21? 22?
So are we gonna, I was looking at something that would have been the same with crabapple, let's see. No. Any other consistent? Maybe I
Which
was
in
looking at-
Crabapple, we looked, or the other, we did the stadium, the private school, I think. Didn't we do that?
Yeah, so we need to look at,
Business,
back on 20, make a note about all the schools and make sure that's right.
21, you mean? Business, trade, and
21.
art schools, or all the schools?
I was talking about, there's public and,
Yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah.
same issue, it matches the School of Business, Dance, or Arts, but trade school is listed everywhere as a use permit, so the same issue.
That's right.
okay.
Twenty-two is good. Three,
On 23, you don't have, there's no confusion on this one, correct? The barn.
Well, I think it would be the
Because
same
it's-
thing, well,
Well, but it's not,
only, yeah, it's just.
yeah.
E2. And yeah, it's not the same
Yeah,
because it's
okay,
not
that's right.
AG1, yeah. Well, it has it on all writing areas, then it has the U and the P.
Yeah.
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 What page I'm a little lost.
Oh, I was at 23, just all writing areas under open uses, like toward the bottom.
It has a U and
U
a
and a
P.
P, so it's a use permit or permitted. It's 8.72, so go back to have this open.
And then you don't need a colon on all writing areas.
Yep, I got that. There it is.
Okay, there it is. Riding areas are only permitted as follows for property with a single-family dwelling being the principal. Okay.
Same thing
It's the
without.
same thing, but I don't think it really applies to the transect zone, to the form-based codes. Mm. Two. It could be a use permit, but I don't think it's permit, well. See, because that came from AG1 and we never talked about it in the form-based code, even though T2 is like a default AG1, so not so sure if it should be there. Like, I think it should at least be a use permit, but then
Are not permitted.
not permitted by right. I'll check with Caleb, just because that was all AG1 stuff. It
Yeah.
wasn't really for T2, but T2 is a type of de facto AG1.
Okay.
So check with Caleb.
Right, so 24 then.
Fix the footnote, figure out the footnotes.
No business use only being allowed in T5 and 6 in Deer. I don't show it anywhere right now. I still have one blank.
Yeah, I noted the same thing, that roadside vending and seasonal business use when you get to Deerfield are blank.
Yeah.
Though roadside produce stands are allowed, and we know we have a fireworks stand that goes up in Deerfield every year, which I would say is roadside vending, but I think fireworks gets called out. But it is temporary. So roadside, according to this chart on 24, roadside vending is blank, but we know they come up with, we always have that fireworks shop that comes in.
Well, but I think that, oh yeah, for the roadside vending, but then we had another use that we created. It's very confusing with that.
Yeah.
But 895.
There is the non-structural consumer fireworks retail
That's what that,
sales,
yeah, that's,
and that's also blank. So roadside vending, seasonal business use, and the fireworks. Oh, because non-structural are not permitted, but temporary consumer fireworks resales, sales
yeah, it
facilities
is. Yeah, that's the
are.
difference, yeah.
So that covers that, but other roadside vending and seasonal business, not in Deerfield?
I'm going to there, so 8, 9.
But allowed in Crabapple, that seems odd.
Eight, 9, 5. A use offering either farm-grown prepared food on meals for sale from a vehicle. All districts.
Wait,
And, except agricultural district, no more than 4. So it's still that same thing about the roads. I just.
let's just double check that with.
Yeah, all that.
That was fun. Can we move to 25?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, yeah.
So what did we decide on roadside vending and seasonal business use in Deerfield?
So roadside vending, it was originally only supposed to be M1 and M2. And then roadside produce stands are MIX C1, C2, M1, M2, and AG1. So it seems like it's, I mean, I know this is form-based code, but I don't think that there's any, I think he's still using the same definition. So I'll just have to
We'll have to just
get with
check
them and figure it out, because I don't think some of these should be permitted
Right.
in the form-based code. Or if they are, like the A for roadside, I think it should just be T2. It shouldn't be all the residentially zoned areas. But,
Yeah, and then like 1608, she's saying 1608 says seasonal business use is allowed in T5 and T6, but it's blank.
Right.
And it might be by admin permit, I'd have to read.
I just said no lemonade stands.
okay.
Okay,
All right.
25.
25, something in the second column under use standard, 3 little i's. Townhouses are only permitted sites. It seems we have one too many only. Say townhouses are only permitted on sites. Get rid of the second only.
mhm.
I agree with that.
Triplex, the definition, it reads these dwelling units, a single building that does not meet the definition of townhouse, loft apartment, or neighborhood apartment. Neighborhood apartment is
Right, yeah.
Good catch.
all I have on 25.
Is it quadruplex or is it quadplex? Is it duplex, triplex, quadruplex?
You can ask. Let's see.
All right, anybody else on 25? All right, 26.
Why is the building bolded?
It's probably a typo.
Because throughout here, there are a number of places where words are just randomly bolded.
Yeah.
26. Seven. Okay, 28.
28L. Strikes me as being a bit. An alternate screening design is used. The buffer must provide as much or more year-round visual screening. Otherwise, the otherwise required buffer would. May I just suggest that we change it to year-round visual screening as would, delete, otherwise be required.
As would otherwise be required.
Right.
That reads right, yeah.
Screening as would otherwise be. This awkward sentence appears in like 15 different places.
Well, that's because this is the kind of
Yeah, it's
alternative screening design.
yeah, and so we
Yeah.
see that a lot.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I'll tick them off when they come up.
Okay.
All right. 28, we're done with 28.
Check.
29.
Your group living, the first section defined, alternate senior housing, no period.
Else on 29? 30.
On page 30G, we talk about a 1,320-foot distance. And Then on page 32, we again talk about distances, but here they're a quarter of a mile. 1,320 feet is a quarter of a mile.
Right.
Why don't we just say, pick one or the other, either do it in feet or say a quarter of a mile? Most of our, by the way, most of our things are in feet.
Yeah,
On page
yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
See the 32?
I don't.
I mean, yeah, on page 32 at the.
Oh, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, I see it.
Under both the agriculture district and then R1. They
I
both
see
have
it.
quarters. Okay.
Okay.
Ron, I like you. Consistency.
I want to be consistently
Even
consistent.
if it's consistently wrong, it's okay.
So are we up to 32 then? Are we done up to 32? That's everything?
No, I've got something on 31.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Over there. On 31, first column, F at the top, we talked about the screening again. That's that thing I
Oh,
mentioned
yep.
earlier. In the second column, F, again, it's that same
Otherwise-
screening
yep.
question.
Right. 32?
Under G, in that list, we're using semicolons. Are we using? I think-
Oh, yeah,
We're using periods, right?
periods. Mhm.
I'm going to assume you're going to go back and check all of those.
Yeah, they can do a
Yes.
replace,
Yes.
find and replace, or look at least, and then decide to replace it.
In the second column, G, you've got the same.
Yeah.
There.
Okay, 33. Anybody have any? Okay. 34.
At the bottom of 34 and carrying on to 35, it's the same word.
Okay.
On 35, second column, Roman numeral 7.
What's everything on 34 and 35?
Bachelor's does not need to be bolded on 35.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah,
so we'll have
got
them, yeah,
Random acts of boldness.
randomly bolding.
Oh, on library in its definition, we speak about books, periodicals, sometimes films and recorded music. But we're moving more into a digital
Right,
world.
yeah.
Should we mention digital formats?
I think so.
Physical
Yeah.
or digital formats?
Yeah, that's good.
Just trying to think if there's anything that we might capture because it's a digital, it's storing digitally. Do we have some sort of business that
Yeah.
is, I don't know, your backup, hard drive backup company? Would they be called a library? I don't know, just thinking out loud whether, if library, we really think to mean a library, it may have that other stuff. But no. Trying to- I don't think of it as being a
Oh,
problem.
he
How about
did
this in
separate those.
in physical or digital formats?
Sure.
Oh, that's
Or-
good. That's good.
In any format.
What?
Just say, or in any format?
Yeah, or any other format? Because
Something in the future.
in the future.
Could be holograms.
Like,
That's right.
It's just, pretty soon we probably won't even have libraries, but.
And
I know.
getting close.
Yeah, I've got a book on tape in my car.
I
right now.
know, I know. My husband is a big user of Fulton County Libraries, so.
Right, 35, the digital formats. What else? Anything else? Okay. 36.
Second column.
Yeah,
E.
yep.
Yep.
Right. 37. Anybody have anything on 37?
Just a question here. Under public schools, we limit it to Fulton County. But wouldn't another governmental entity also be, if they had a school, wouldn't that be?
Right, if it was the city of Alpharetta Schools or the whatever.
Yeah, so could we just add there or other governmental entity?
Okay,
And the same under the school special.
but not operated by Fulton County or other government.
Second column, E is,
Okay, 38.
That screening thing is
B.
E.
on the last page?
On 37, it's on E.
Yeah.
Okay.
38, it's on G. Steal your thunder on that one.
And there's N, B are bolded.
Good catch, Kurt.
See,
See two.
I guess they're all bolded.
Oh, they're all bolded.
Well, they're supposed to all be bolded.
They're supposed to be bolded. They have been for pages.
I gotta wake up here.
I know.
All right, 38,
Don't know
anything
why.
else? Okay, 39. Good. 40. Okay. 41. Right, 42. Okay, 43. $44. 45.
What's the next page anybody's got?
49.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all the telecommunications stuff.
All sick of my voice already. Okay, 49.
49. First, the second column.
I thought we were stopping at page 44. Oh, no, we're doing 45. I'm sorry. Trying to stop us too soon. No, never mind.
Nice
Go
try.
ahead.
How'd you catch yourself?
Did you have something?
No, I thought we were only going to, I didn't realize we weren't to the stopping point yet.
We can get through this pretty quick.
Which
I
one?
think there's the stopping point.
Yeah. After this section, not before.
All right,
Page 49, second column, on A, B, C, D, E, all need periods at the end.
right. 50. That's something, what's the next page?
I'm at 62.
You're at 62.
Oh, we're back to 62? How do we do that? Oh, we just, wow.
Jumping ahead. Right. Delta Entertainment.
That's what we were supposed to, we're stopping at page 61. It's on the
Okay,
agenda.
because we're going to do the commercial uses separately.
Okay.
Well, let's save it for next time.
So,
Since
No
it's-
adult
Since
entertainment
it's
tonight.
adult entertainment, I'll just leave you guys thinking. and wondering the
What
comments were.
could his comments have
Yeah,
been?
exactly.
Maybe we should do it now so there won't be any audience for the next time in case anybody comes for.
Can we just ban the
And I-
whole thing? Just
Yeah.
say ban in
I
all.
had, I had some audio visual to go along with it.
Oh, well.
I know, it's kind of like, oh, all these places banning books. Well, all you have to do is look at everybody's zoning ordinance under adult entertainment and there'll be lots to.
Yeah.
And I might suggest everyone kind of, if you want to, look at the just general law and guidance around language related to said establishments
Yeah.
in the United States.
All right.
What's
the
So
mess?
then we're gonna pick up on page 61,
One,
at the end of the planning commission meeting in 2 weeks.
62.
And then I'll send you guys an update about, I'm a little fuzzy about what we're doing next, so. I'm pretty sure we're just doing this, so you want to just, because I think if I had more to do, I don't,
oh, in 2 weeks?
in 2 weeks.
No,
we-
Michael
we're-
has his, the,
Flag lots.
Flag lots.
Yeah, so, okay. So we are gonna pick up where we left off with the text amendment. So it's flag lots and, the
the,
ZPO.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll have this plus those other two. So
Okay,
sure you get the rest of the night. before.
yeah.
Bring a snack.
Bring
All
a
right.
snack.
Any-
Good.
Would be happy to entertain a motion.
Just move to adjourn.
Second, let's do it.
Let's
All in
do
favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Unanimous.